Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pash On Podcast. Let's get started with your host, Brian Pash.
Hi, this is Brian Pash, and welcome to another podcast interview with automotive industry leaders and innovators. I'm so pleased to have on today's show Matt Mead. He's the founder of Drivonic, and today we're going to be talking about one of the hottest segments of automotive marketing, this conversation around CDPs, MAPs, and we're going to introduce something new, an AIP. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Brian. It's always good to be here. Always great catching up with you.
Well, Matt, before we jump into the heart of the conversation, people may not know the word Drivonic as far as a company that is completely changing the way automotive marketing is being delivered through agency partners. If you're in an elevator with a dealer or another agency, what would you tell them about Drivonic?
I think the easiest way to kind of describe what we do is we view ourselves as a catalyst for connectivity and kind of a bridge builder for complex missions that require some innovation. So we're a data-driven company that services all three levels of the automotive industry. We have expertise in kind of multiple facets of fulfillment and partnerships. So whether you're a tier one OEM relationship with us that needs, some specific data to fulfill a mission, or you're a tier two level agency or marketing association that needs to go and target specific data segments, or you're a tier three agency and or dealer group that needs an audience intelligence platform, CDP, whatever you might want to refer to it as, that ultimately allows you to execute on your goals internally inside the dealership. We are kind of that back-end backbone for those missions that you might want to get done.
Great. And Matt, I want to try to set the stage for our conversation today, because the conversations of a CDP, a consumer data platform, MAP, a marketing automation platform, are starting to bubble up. I think it's going to be one of the hot conversations at the Modern Retailing Conference. But let me set the stage. There are a number of companies coming to market with a CDP or a CDXP, like a customer data experience platform. And
Sure.
These were companies that were offering turnkey marketing solutions with some advanced targeting to dealers or OEMs as a turnkey package. They ran everything. And now, as dealer groups are realizing the importance of their first party data and the uplift they can get by partnering with third party, with privacy laws coming down the pipe, everyone's kind of scrambling and saying, look, we need to put all our client data in one place that's secure, and then we need to manage this so that when we do, as you mentioned, launch different business campaigns with certain objectives, that we can do this flawlessly and efficiently. But as you and I talked about the other day, making a dealer switch to this model requires them to learn some technology of whatever CDP, also their marketing automation platform. And for some dealers, that may be a kind of a big lift, whereas Drivonic has all these pieces, but really takes care of the heavy lifting to partner with the dealer. How would you describe your vision for dealers who want their data in a privacy compliant way with automation and data hygiene and data, integration with third parties? How do you want to describe your solution for dealers through their agencies or large dealer groups as compared to, hey, here's the CDP, go at it?
So a CDP is kind of the baseline, right? And I think there's, you just touched on so many things with how you just described it. One of which is a dealership having to adopt new technology, having to learn how to execute on it. Companies that offer a CDP type solution have to really be thinking about what role they're fulfilling for the dealership and for the individuals within the dealership or the dealer group. With the things happening with, which I know we'll touch on, the things coming down, as you said, with new legislation and the new rules that have come in relation to GLB, which is Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, as I'm sure you know, having to have a single individual that's responsible for information security within the dealership. There's all these different things that are going to affect how a dealership or a dealer group is able to interact and connect with any platform. So as you start to kind of look at that, and you take that into consideration, and then you have the difference between a CDP and an AIP. So you ask, how would I want the dealers to comprehend and understand it? So an audience intelligence platform is merely a platform where you can do some of the same functions we've had for a while. So you've had great companies out there, other great companies out there that will extract the data out and syndicate your data, whether that's a vAuto and things that are doing your inventory data out of your DMS, whether that's an Authenticom, a Dealer Vault, or someone else, one of these other companies within the industry that will extract the data and syndicate that out. What a dealer wants and needs is a partner that kind of has the ability to do all of those things, combined with hygiening, combined with NCOAing the data. One of the things that we see more common than anything else is just this simple, I'm marketing to these 10,000 people in my database, and 4,000 of them have moved out over the last 7 years, don't even live in my market anymore, and I have no idea, so I'm wasting valuable ad dollars targeting them. So an audience intelligence platform just kind of takes and pulls everything together. What we do is we allow dealers to onboard in a zero knowledge repository, the ability to bring their data, house it. We take care of hygiening it, keeping it up to date, and then we can set syndication capabilities to where we can actually send that out to their agency. We can send that out to their marketing partners, whoever it might be. So that allows them to actually be able to control who it's going to and keep accurate records of all of that, which of course, as you know, with the GLB stuff, will be very critical in the coming years as that becomes more prolific. So
yeah, Matt, and one of the things I want to remind dealers is that December 9th is coming up around the corner, and I believe that the history will repeat itself. Lawyers who are looking for people who are ignorant go for the companies that have bigger pockets, and car dealers are perceived by many of these law firms as people with deep pockets. And one of the things that you should know is that as the dealer, you're responsible for how the data gets moved after a consumer fills out a form on your website. And let me just explain. The website company, if it's in like a Shift Digital program, will send that data, that form first typically goes to a Shift Digital first. That goes in a secure manner. That's probably using a star standard, which is an encrypted format, and it gets into Shift, and then Shift is going to do what it does and then send it to the dealer. Shift, for the most part, is sending that data as an ADF XML file to your CRM company or other parties, but it's the dealer, according to the law, the dealer's responsibility to make sure that none of that consumer's information, and I'm just talking about their name, phone number, and email address, never gets sent unencrypted. Then, and that's going to be a huge thing if dealers are not talking to their website and CRM companies that they will no longer accept ADF XML. That includes liability, not for the dealer, but Cars.com, Auto Trader, KBB, Car Gurus. If they're collecting information on consumers and sending that in the clear, you wonder about those. And I don't know if those third parties fall under the financial institution kind of rules that GLBA has. But here's the second thing. The dealers are working with direct mail companies, email marketing companies, Facebook, Google, and people are downloading your DMS into an ASCII file moving it over, importing it into Facebook, and every one of those unencrypted passing of data is a massive fine. And I don't know how ugly it's going to get, but I think one of the reasons, Matt, that people are thinking about CDPs, and then you're talking about an AIP, is that somebody has to be able to tell the dealer principal or the owners, look, all the data is in this one place. It's being updated and merged. And then when we send it to Facebook, it's encrypted. When we send it to Google, it's encrypted. When we send it to the email company, it's encrypted. Or we're not sending it at all. We're going to launch these campaigns directly from this platform. I mean, am I setting the right fear level, Matt, that if we don't get serious about where our data is going, it could look ugly in 2023?
I think you're setting the right concern level. I think that I don't think it's anything to be afraid of. I think that, well, first, so going back, a number of years, when we started, I implemented 3 different levels of encryption across our entire data set. We had both SHA-256, SHA-1, and MD5. And these are 3 different formats that, going back 7 years, we didn't know which one was going to be adopted as the industry standard. Now, ultimately, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, everyone adopted the SHA-256 as the standard encryption. So you can actually take, as an example, an email address, encrypt it into a SHA-256, upload it into Facebook, and Facebook will use the same encryption to match that person. And so there's, from the reception side, from the vendor side, and the platform side, we've been ahead of the curve. These things have kind of been in place. Facebook, Google, everyone, they all got together years ago and adopted, knowing that some things like this were going to come. And post Cambridge Analytica and some of the other things that kind of went down, there was a lot of internal things that got fixed. There's a lot more that is not fixed, as you've pointed out. And I think that there's a lot of things that the auto industry and the higher ups and the lobbyists and the different people that support our industry are really going to have to be thinking about. Some of which is, the Graham-Leach-Bliley Act is specifically geared towards financial institutions, financial companies, and the transference of those things. But automotive is somehow lumped into that. Because we create finance contracts, I'm sure, because of the different things. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how that happens. But between the time that all gets solved, as you've pointed out, I think that sometime over the next 5 years, there's going to have to be a change in conversation around, do we really qualify here? Are we really scrutinized at this level? And should we really be overseen and governed, at least from the lead flow process? Now, the finance applications, the transference of all of those things, the storage of all of that data internally, having a dedicated person on staff that understands and knows the rules as they line out a responsible individual. Okay, sure. We can all, as dealers, commit to, those are reasonable things. But the CRMs, the DMSs, and all of the other, our entire industry runs off of ADF XML.
Right.
And so having a scenario where literally the entire infrastructure of our industry has to be gutted and reprogrammed, you're talking about a significant thing. In the meantime, unfortunately, I believe that it will be the dealerships that will be the unfortunate recipient of the carnage from this change. I think that you're going to find, as you pointed out, I think there's going to be a lot of lawsuits, a lot of attorneys and law firms that see us as easy prey, and I think they're going to come after us. And then I think it's going to be a mad dash and a scramble to try and defend ourselves. I think your fear level and your concern level is appropriate because it's a very concerning thing that no one is talking about. I think we have a civil tsunami coming towards the auto industry around this stuff. And I don't think anybody's watching it happen. So I commend you for being ahead of the curve, even thinking about it.
Well, it's interesting. There's the bigger problem that most dealers and NADA is following is the FTC, bill that came out of committee, and everyone's trying to fight this, which would dramatically change the way the sales process works and disclosures and that's what everyone's talking about. At the same time, I was lucky to run into really the chief legal counsel of a dealer group in the Carolinas. And when I brought it up, she was so refreshing. She goes, Brian, I've sent letters to my website companies, my CRM companies, demanding certification that I will no longer receive any information via ADF XML into my CRM from my website. And I said, well, there's some players that, because she had a lot of stores, that don't have strong APIs. And she goes, well, I'm firing them, anybody who can't comply. And that was the first time I heard someone actually get serious about it. So we'll see what happens in the coming months. And obviously, we'll keep an eye on it. Matt, when I think of your platform, it almost sounds like a DMS company should buy your company, because the role of the DMS needs to evolve. It is the single source of truth, but it does not have any of the features that dealers would need to, in a sense, weaponize their data to help grow their business. But what has been very unique about Drivonic, it's in its ability to react to market opportunities, to take what you've built and deploy it in new channels. And one of the things I picked up was a challenge that you had from dealers and agencies to truly reinvent OTT delivery, attribution, reporting, and to have a more real-time decisioning on OTT deployment. It seems like a huge project, but you were able to accomplish it with Sinclair. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. We were approached, obviously, after they had approached many other companies in the space. We're a smaller company in comparison to some of the others that have been approached. And they were looking specifically to build a bridge between being able to use audience data and being able to generate attribution around OTT. So essentially, rather than going out and just using available third-party audience data, they wanted to be able to take both first-party and third-party data and build an audience, and they wanted to be able to pre-target versus retarget those individuals. So they wanted to be able to come into our platform. They wanted to be able to, for instance, see everyone that was shopping for a Ford vehicle, within a 20-mile radius of a specific location or within a specific market area. And they wanted to be able to push that data, that information, via a hashed, a hashed identifier that could go over to the platform. They own their platform, and then take that and be able to go and serve ads specifically to people that have a propensity to do business with that dealer client. Instead of just spraying the whole market, hoping to hit the 7%, we're able to take and say, look, here are the 10, 12, 14% that have the highest propensity to do business with this store. And then we're able to take and push that over to the platform. They serve the ads. Now, the interesting part and the bridge that they needed help building was on the backside of that. They wanted to then, if they had consumed the media and then came and went to the website or came and went, and ultimately bought a vehicle, they were looking for a way to build attribution. And we were able to accomplish that for them in a manner that allowed them to roll it out recently to their 900 plus reps in their sales force and take it to market. And we're very excited for that project. And again, it was a complex one. It's not something that's super simple to do it in a way that stays compliant, and then to do it in a way that ultimately allows the dealer to be able to make better spending decisions. So we integrated all of that inside of our OTT platform that we have now, that we've recently rolled out. And so now our agency partners, our tier 2 partners, when they come and they're placing OTT through us, we're able to actually build the audiences in advance based off of their specific missions, their specific goals that they're trying to accomplish, and then ultimately serve that and then deliver attribution on the back end from someone who, in the old days, we would have said someone who watched a TV commercial and then bought a car. There's no way to connect those dots. With OTT, you can actually connect those dots now.
And that's really what I wanted to focus on, is that there's been so much unaccountable selling of OTT, and we're finally, and granted, it was a kind of a new medium and people were feeling out, privacy considerations and data integration. It's good to hear that we're finally emerging after a few years of OTT spending to have greater attribution and reporting down to a vehicle sale. Matt.
And Brian, if you don't mind, and sure. on the backside of that, because you know who the audience is in advance, you have the ability to truly integrate cross-channel and cross-device. So yes, I'm serving them OTT. I'm serving them my TV commercials on their streaming media, their devices, whatever it might be. But I can also then take that same person in that audience and I can go serve them a social ad. I can send them an email. I can go serve them a display ad, whatever it might be. And so once you have, and that's the difference between a CDP who can hold and manage your data and push it wherever you tell it to, and an audience intelligence platform that can actually build you an audience of both third-party and first-party data, push it to wherever you'd like it to go, but then also show linear attribution across all of those. So that's, and apologize for interrupting, but that's really the magic of it, is that it's not just one channel that's targetable and attainable. You can go across multiple channels with the same exact audience. So you build an audience, say, for example, Toyota Camry owners, and you want to specifically target Toyota Camry owners. Well, you can do that across all channels now. And so it's an interesting advancement for sure.
Absolutely. And it's one of the reasons why PCG Digital chose to put its advanced advertising solutions on the Drivonic platform. Drivonic is designed for agencies or large dealer groups. So if you're a dealer today listening to this conversation, say, hey, I have one rooftop or two or three rooftops, but I want this advanced targeting, please reach out to the team at PCG Digital or reach out to me. We'll get that set. But if you're a large dealer group who's managing a large budget and want to put your dealer group's data in a central repository that's being securely maintained with data hygiene and the ability to work with a partner that's doing the heavy lifting on truly being a media distribution platform, Drivonic is absolutely a partner to consider. Matt, if a dealer group or an agency wants to leverage your technology, what's the best place for them to go to get signed up for a demo?
They can go straight to drivonic.com. They can choose, what segment of the industry they're in. And then our chief revenue officer, member of our team, Philip Ami, he'll reach out. Someone will connect and get a demo scheduled.
Great. And don't forget that the team at Drivonic will be at the Modern Retailing Conference, and CDPs, CDXPs, AIPs, and MDPs. Wow, we have so many new acronyms to share at the Modern Retailing Conference. But all kidding aside, dealers need to wake up about the privacy concerns about how consumer data is collected, stored, and maintained, how it's being distributed, how is it being shared, and how is it being optimized to make sure that your ad spend is very efficient. This is part of the future of what we now know as automotive marketing, and Drivonic has been well ahead of the pack for years. And I told Matt that the market's catching up to him, meaning they're finally realizing the value of the technology that has been built many years prior and continues to evolve. If this is the first time you're listening to one of our podcast interviews, you should know that I interview industry leaders, disruptors, and people who have a true vision for helping the dealers run a efficient, profitable business, and with the headwinds of the future uncertain and sometimes gusting very hard, dealers need great partners they can lean on to. So if you have not registered for the Modern Retailing Conference, go to modernretailingconference.com, click on the agenda link. You will see that this is an education-first conference, jam-packed with topics on marketing, HR, sales process, new GA4 standards being released, and of course, all of the top leaders in automotive technology, marketing, sales process will be there. Do not miss that show. And it's going to sell out. So don't yell at me if you wait to the last minute, because we will sell out like we do every year. Matt, if there was one thing you wanted to leave our listeners before we sign off today, what's that one thought?
Anybody can run marketing campaigns for your dealership or your dealer group. Finding a partner that both understands the advancements of data, the concerns around data privacy, and has the ability to do the work for you rather than simply providing you with a platform that requires you or someone on your team to adopt and learn that technology and fulfill on those needs yourself. I think that's the critical difference between what Drivonic offers our agency partners and our large dealer group partners. I think that that's the ticket. Having someone who is willing to do the work for you so you don't have to take on the burden of the heavy lifting.
Yep. Well, that's music to the ears of many folks who are trying to do more with less manpower, more control over their financial destiny. So we really appreciate your time today just to educate dealers on what the future of marketing looks like. I want to thank Matt and everyone who's listening, and I look forward to seeing many of you at the Modern Retailing Conference, November 13th, 14th, 15th in beautiful Palm Beach. It's a beautiful time of the year. And until next time, have a great day and continue learning.